What's up, FandomVerse YouTube? This your boy A.R.M.
It's your boy Louie G.
And we just came out of seeing Avengers Endgame, so you're gonna get our fresh, unapologetic, unfiltered reaction. Warning: there's gonna be spoilers all throughout this video, so if you do not want any spoilers, don't watch. Turn it off. You're gonna get a warning right there on the screen as well.
Or in layman's terms, if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this video. Wait a couple of days after seeing the movie. You motherfuckers sometimes don't comprehend.
Well, I'll let you start off. What did you think?
Overall, it's a good movie. I liked it. I liked the towards the end, the battle scene when everybody shows up. I had a couple questions, but I like that battle scene. Every Avenger you would think of is sitting there fighting against Thanos' army. So I love that portion of it.
Man, the movie is just so many emotions. There are a lot of Easter eggs in the movie. There are a lot of emotional moments. I can see there were some moments where, like when once again, I'm just getting spoiler alert, so you act like in case you turn the video on at this point. But when Thor saw his mom, I think as just the emotion of a young guy seeing his mom before she was killed. Him trying to warn her, that was kind of emotional. Just a lot. The time traveling scene where they went back to retrieve all of the Infinity Gems before Thanos. It was so fun. It was like reading like a good story arc in a comic book, because in comic book world, each one of those stories would have been a separate book, and just seeing how they were interacting with the old Marvel movies throughout history and how they kind of mixed in those old scenes with some new shot footage. It was brilliant. Disney Marvel, it was brilliant. Like that whole scene, that whole mission right there, to me was just food for thought. Wow, just so much going on in the movie. I'm gonna talk candidly about this movie as much as possible, but I'm not gonna just say things just to spoil it. But if I say something that's a spoiler, then it's a spoiler. But the scene, like I said earlier, when Black Widow and Ronan went to retrieve the Soul Stone, before they went on that mission, and when you see the movie, you know what I'm saying. At that point, both Iron Man and Nebula should have known that to retrieve that stone would require a soul for a soul sacrifice. So they did not warn them before they went on that mission. And I'll just leave it at that. That, to me, I don't know if that was a plot hole, or maybe I'm missing something. And if I am missing something, that maybe something that has to do with the time travel, and maybe. But I think I'm covered in that, right?
Yeah, because what was funny to me is like when they came back, they're like, "Oh, where's Natasha?" I was like, well, fuck, if he got the stone, that means she didn't come back. Yeah.
They knew. They were like, let's get rid of this red-headed broad. No, I'm just kidding.
The other one that I had, well, I had two, but then when I kind of, on the way home, or on the way to here, I was like, okay, never mind, now it makes sense. But the one that I had was, so 5 years passed from the time that they vanished. So we're 5 years in the future from the last movie. So when they go back, let's say everybody goes back to their regular lives, it's 5 years ahead, right?
Yes.
So why does Peter Parker go back to school and his friend Ned's in high school waiting for him? Hey, look, by that time, he would have since graduated from high school. All his friends that he knew would have been in college by now and not in high school. So, like...
Oh, you know what I think it was? Remember when Tony Stark, he asked Hulk to just bring people back but not change the present?
Right.
So, I guess if he was in that grade when they disappeared, when Hulk snapped
let's say he was in a freshman.
Yeah.
High school. Hypothetically speaking, 5 years later, he's all his friends would have would have since moved on since then.
I don't know if the ones who disappeared moved on. You get what I'm saying? I think he was one. But Peter Parker himself too. I think we may be getting mixed up with the different time. I think that it's the whole time travel thing. But I get what you're saying.
Well, no, because he would have been, that was my thing. He would have been already. There's 5 years past, so he goes back to his regular life. Now his regular life, he goes back to high school. But unless, maybe Ned might have disappeared too when
I guess
Thanos
anyone
thing.
who disappeared in the last movie, whatever happened in those 5 years, it doesn't affect them. They come back at the same age,
Right.
including Spider-Man, because remember he did disappear.
Right,
too.
right. But I'm saying he goes back to high school and like all his friends would have had to disappear in order for.
I don't know. I have to think about that some more, but I think
Well, the other one was like Captain America.
Okay.
You know, I was like, well, how does he go back and do all that? But then I'm like, hold on, that would have been two different ones. So there's not like time he would have changed. But then you think, what about like the butterfly effect? You know, if him going back and staying there, you know, could have altered a lot of things. The other one too for me was
that's true.
Thanos.
That is true.
So the old Thanos, prior to Quill gathering that stone on for the Guardians of the Galaxy, that Thanos goes into the future. So if that Thanos goes into the future, gets defeated into the future, that means the old Thanos would have never have gotten the Infinity Stones, which would have led to none of this fucking mess happening to begin with.
No,
because this timeline would have changed. So
he was in the past. Remember, he was in the past. So he was already. Remember, they killed him in the future. They went to the past.
Right, and he came from the past prior to.
I've seen, but you know what? I know what you mean theoretically. But the same with Nebula. I mean, and some other time travel movies, sometimes people will come from the past and see their future self. They don't necessarily have to disappear in the future. So
no, what I'm trying to say is that he would have, if that past Thanos would have left and then got destroyed in the future, and that means he never went back to his original timeline. Means he'd never have gotten the Infinity Gauntlet to begin with, or all the stones. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, so old Thanos jumps into the future prior to Infinity War. Okay. Old Thanos goes into the future, gets killed there, meaning that Thanos' timeline from that point on ended when he went to the future and got killed. Does that make sense? Think of it.
I don't know. It made sense. The movie, it made sense to me.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. But
it made sense to me.
Sometimes you'll get like spots where like you're thinking about it.
I think maybe the time traveling thing is getting confusing because even with the Black Widow and Ronin, but I just saw it as basically this: they killed him in the future or the present, you know, from the movie, and then they went back in time where he was still alive. And he found out what their plans were for the future, so he time traveled to the future.
And then got killed.
Killed again, but that doesn't mean he got killed again. But it wouldn't affect him just by simply time traveling. So
it is if that one can't go back to his regular time to carry on what he originally had planned out was getting.
Possibly. I get what you're saying, but because he was killed at that time, he can't do that. It's almost like you're saying. Basically, what he would have done, that's what Captain America basically did. Captain America was able to go back and right his wrongs, if you want to look at it like that.
Well, yeah, but he went back right after his old self got stuck in the snow. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He went back after he supposedly had died. So that the other Captain America's timeline would have continued with the first Avenger movie, the second Avenger movie, Infinity War. That timeline, for him. He went back.
Yeah.
So there was two different Captain Americas in that timeline. One was stuck in the snow, and the other one spent his time with.
Honestly, I don't. But I get what you're trying to say, but I don't see the confusion. I wasn't confused by what happened.
No, I wasn't confused. It just to me, it's one of those where if you would have caught it and you said, "Oh shit!" If old Thanos would have gone to the future prior to Infinity War. Then that's one of those butterfly effect things.
If he would have just went back to that time frame instead of coming back to after.
Had he done it afterwards, and then that's fine. He can die again. But
because he knew that they regathered the stones, and he knew the stones were all going to be there. But he was taking a shortcut. I think he was because Nebula found him. She said they're at this time.
Right.
And she kind of pretty much didn't give him the word until she was sure they all had the stones in at one point. So. Right. Maybe he was a bit arrogant. He knew he was going to come to that time and just basically take the glove from him instead of just going back to the time where he had already accumulated stones. Okay, I do get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You could have just came back to that time, but I don't know. Time travel, that's why I don't do it anymore. So
Trust me, when you watch that shit, after you watch it and you think about that shit, you're gonna ask the same fucking question: is how, yeah, a lot of shit would have been erased had he. Yeah, you'll get it.
I mean, remember, didn't someone say why not just go back and kill Baby Thanos? They were like, that's just wrong.
Yeah,
they could have did that too, but we wouldn't have gotten the movie, and it wouldn't have probably been.
The movie doesn't feel 3 hours long.
No, because you're enjoying it the whole time.
The movie doesn't feel 3 hours long. I mean, I didn't really start feeling, sitting down for too long until maybe like the last 10 minutes. But I mean, as far as watching the movie and everything like that, it doesn't feel like it's 3 hours long.
So what were some other notable highlights of the movie that you enjoyed?
Oh, the passing of the shield, old Captain America's passing the shield on to now his friend Sam, aka Falcon. So pretty stoked about that.
Most likely he'll have it for the next movie, Falcon and Winter Soldier and Falcon, or Falcon and Winter Soldier. What was it for me? It was a main. Well, actually, yeah. Here's another spoiler. Just be generous and say it before, but Captain America picking up Mjolnir, and then even Stormbreaker at times. That was huge. That's from the comic books. For him to be worthy enough to wield that hammer and deal some damage, that was a huge. That was a huge moment in the movie for me. Just so many things going all over the place. Captain Marvel. She really played her role in the movie, and she doesn't play as big a role in the movie as you thought she was going to. She does big things, but she's not there all the time. So she's really not in the movie all that much to begin with. But she's in the movie.
Beginning, a little bit in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
More towards the end, towards the fighting battle scene. Same thing with Nick Fury. You only really see him at the end.
What motherfucker?
One other thing, yeah. I mean, since we're at it, Tony Stark dies. He dies. Dead. Fucking dead.
He did.
He dead.
He done died.
He dead. They're at his funeral. Dead as shit.
Oh, we get Smart Hulk in the movie too, from the late '90s. You remember? Black tank top and glasses.
I don't know how I feel about that. Because Smart Hulk wasn't as big as.
You're being too technical, but
when
you get Tony Stark's mind and his personality with the Hulk's body, that's Smart Hulk. So, but he's not as enraged and angry as the Beast is. That's why they made the joke in the movie when he was kind of like, rah, rah.
Yeah.
But so we got a Smart Hulk in the movie. So in a way, it's like Bruce Banner being in charge of his powers. So it's kind of cool to see that little nod to the '90s. More Easter eggs in the movie. We get. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of emotions in the movie. If you're an emotional person, there's a lot of scenes where I can tell they're trying to jerk tears out of people and make you feel like, oh. So, but then there's a lot of comedy in the movie, like Thor.
Yeah.
Thor's fast.
Thor's out of shape. He's got a big beer gut. He's drunk.
Dreadlocks. Nappy ass hair. But he was still powerful though. He was still able to fight and hold his own in the battle.
He was just fat and out of shape.
He was just fat and out of shape. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I really get the I guess there might have been like a tearjerker here and there. I mean, I really don't get that emotional in movies.
You don't have any.
No,
because you're a robot. You're a creature of people.
I mean, I was like when I heard someone sobbing, like
it was a
5
kid.
rows down.
It was a kid.
It was an adult.
It was a bunch. Well, actually, okay.
I mean, somebody was like sobbing, like
there's people
like
crying.
they were at the fucking funeral for their grandma. And to me, like shit like that, I've never been to a point where I get that. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I'm able to think, okay, it's a movie. It sucks. It's the character you like, and we've been watching him for a while, but. At one point we knew there was a couple Avengers that weren't going to make it from there. And how ironic it's the first 2 Avengers basically. The first Avengers that we got introduced. Iron Man, Black Widow, and then
Captain America.
Captain America in a way, but we lose him for future movies, basically.
Yeah, I'm sure Sam Wilson smothered him once he got his shield.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he went to the nursing home and put a pillow right over his face. You don't want this no more, Cap. You don't want this. Living in the shadow and whatnot. But
oh, and there are a lot of returns in the movie. Spider-Man returns, Black Panther returns, the Dora Milaje, fucking Valkyrie steps herself up. Valkyrie really, she went to the forefront. Oh, she becomes ruler of Asgard. Another spoiler. I'm just spoiled.
But not the Asgard that we think of. It's Asgard like here on Earth.
It don't matter.
No, I mean,
let the sister have her due.
No, she can have her due. People saying, this big old golden. No, it's some fucking town off some shore in I
don't know,
Ireland or some shit. I don't know.
But so like I said, then we had a little nod to Avengers A-Force. You ever seen the A-Force is like that all-female Avengers. They had a box set.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure some of you people out there who get so offended, it's so, I'm not going to go into that so much, but people who get offended by stuff they think is social justice, well, you're going to be mad because there's a scene with all female Avengers attacking. So, I don't...
I mean, one could get mad. There's all male Avengers attacking Thanos at one point.
And it don't matter. People,
yeah.
we live in a world that's so equal that that's not necessary, right? Moving on. So, I guess we rambled on enough. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, the movie flowed pretty good, with comedy and some stuff. And like I said, it just...
Lots of action. Even the slow parts were really enjoyable because the dialogue was just so good. And, they're definitely setting up for the next phase of Marvel with, like I said, the Falcon, Winter Soldier movie. We all know the Black Widow is going to get a movie. Most likely, it's an origin movie, so it probably would just be a flashback of her life. When she was being trained to be a Russian assassin. We got a bunch of other movies coming up, but man, you just think about your life in the past 10 years. Like, think about where you were 10 years ago when the first Hulk movie came out. That was a whole nother life.
The Edward Norton one or the
I think it was Ed Norton, because that was considered to be part of the MCU before they cast Ruffalo. And then we got Iron Man, and then we had Captain America, the first Avenger. So Disney, Marvel, you did a great job. DC Comics and Warner Brothers,
step your game up.
Every time I see them,
step your game up.
That's all I do.
Don't fumble on that fucking Joker movie.
And I'm a DC Comics fan too, but every time a Marvel movie comes out, I look back at the last DC movie and I just...
Well, the last one we saw was...
Shazam was good. Shazam was good.
But
then, I always go back to Justice League because that's the point where they could have changed a lot, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, yeah. Got this cool Hulk up too. So
I got Ant-Man, but I left mine in the car.
So... Mr. Louie G, what would you give this movie? What score would you rate this?
10. You gotta give it a 10.
10 out of 10. I'm most likely I might see it in the theater again when it goes to $5 Tuesday just to see it again. I'm sure the Blu-ray is already in production.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait to see it when unless one of the kids wants to sit in there for 3 hours. But other than that, we're gonna wait till comes out in Blu-ray.
I think that would be a great family movie to see. Or we go find a dude in the parking lot selling bootlegs.
Realistically, it'll be out on Blu-ray by, I don't know, like
3 months.
3 weeks from now.
I know, right? 3 weeks from now, pretty much.
Blu-ray,
You start seeing the commercials for digital.
Yeah, you'll be able to buy the digital copy about 3 weeks from now. I'm just like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure by the end of the summer we'll be,
Yeah,
but,
they come out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
All right, FandomVerse. This your boy A.R.M.
It's your boy Louie G.
And this has been our Avengers Endgame review/reaction, full of spoilers in case you look at the end of the end of the video before the beginning. I hope you enjoyed the movie. Way down in the comments on your opinions of the movie, and way down in the comments about anything we have said. Interact with us. Don't forget to rate, comment, share, and subscribe. Find us on Instagram, and we hope you have a good night. Enjoy the movie. Have a good weekend.
And if we rambled on, it's because we just literally, not even 5 minutes ago, finished watching the movie. So it's still...
It's fresh in our head.
We're still processing some of this shit. So if it don't make sense, that's why.
And we didn't spoil a lot of stuff in the movie. So
I mean, this is all shit you could have found out like online. I mean, really, I heard someone died and someone got stuck in a time loop, and anyways.
Oh, and there's no end credit scene.
Oh yeah, don't fucking stay.
What's
Just
up with that, Marvel?
Leave.
Yeah, leave.
Don't sit there and wait 10 fucking minutes so you can sit there and just the lights go out on you. I mean, this guy, I had to pull him away. He didn't want to leave.
I still think we got an end credit
lights
scene.
Came on. There was people sweeping by us, and he's like, "No, there's still something there." And so 5 minutes after security showed up, all right, guys, man, this has been real. Hope you enjoy this, and we are FandomVerse.
We are FandomVerse. Are we good now? Peace.
We're good.